the fence. Woo! I ain't afraid of work. I ain't afraid of play. I ain't afraid to get the job done, to do it my own damn way. I ain't afraid of life, times like this. If you mess with my freedom, I'll tell you just what you can kiss. That's right. Hey everybody, welcome to the Stoney Ridge Farm today. We're loading up chainsaws. Man, we had a huge storm about 2 nights ago, and that put down several trees here on the Stoney Ridge Farm. Well, we can't just leave them down. I've got one on the fence over here, and I'm a little bit worried that the cows might get out. We've got to go get this huge pine tree off the fence. There's another tree over behind the house. We're gonna show you guys a few cutting techniques that I use. We're gonna do a little bit of farm cleanup, and we've got some really cool chainsaws we're gonna show you guys today on the Stoney Ridge Farm. Hope you enjoy. So we're up here at the first tree, guys, and the first tree is this maple, and you see it. It's a leaner. It's a mess. I want to show you guys, before we get started, the saws that we're using, because it's all about toys and tools, right? I use safety gear. We're going to show you the safety gear. I'm going to put links in the video description to the safety gear, and we're going to show you the saws that we're using. So first of all, this is a helmet, a very affordable helmet to wear. It has hearing protection. You'll see me using that, and a face shield right here. Okay, guys? Super handy tool to have for any guy that's running a chainsaw, because you can drop widowmakers on your head, and I promise you that log is a lot harder than your head, your noggin, okay? Now I've got a GoPro mount on the front of this, and we'll get some shots of that right there. By the way, I have no hair. The next thing that we're gonna use for safety-wise, we're gonna wear gloves, of course, and we're gonna be using some chainsaw chaps, or shaps, as they're so referred. Tell me what you guys call them. This thing has saved my butt several times. You can see I've nicked my pants there, I've nicked my pants in a couple other spots, and I always wear these chainsaw chaps when I'm using a chainsaw. It's just something that's smart. Now we're using 2 beasts of a chainsaw here today. We're using the Stihl MS 661. This is the big dog. This is a pro commercial type saw. This is a big time. It has a 24-inch bar on it, or 25-inch, whatever Stihl calls it. Slide that guy off there. This is a very, very powerful chainsaw, guys. So not for the faint of heart. It's pretty heavy, but it's not too bad. I prefer using a chainsaw with a longer bar because I'm a tall guy, okay? So we're gonna use the MS 661, which, if you guys know Stihl, you know that saw. That is a bad saw. And we're gonna be using another pro saw. This is gonna be my wingman. It really is a lighter saw. I'll probably use this most of the time. This is the husqvarna 572 XP chainsaw right here. It's got a 24-inch bar also, same kind of chain, same everything, a little bit smaller displacement, and a little bit lighter, maybe 2 pounds lighter, something like that. Neither one of these saws is what I would consider an all-day chainsaw. They're used for cutting more of the larger stuff. Now, this is going to take us probably about an hour, so I'm cool with it, totally cool. Without further ado, let's show you the shoes that I'm wearing. So I'm not here to tell you what to do, guys, but I am here to tell you that this is a bad shoe. This thing is awesome. It's from Keen. I will post a link. It is like a logger shoe, pretty much. It's a steel toe or safety toe type shoe. I have had no problems. This thing has been on my foot for 2 years, and it's tough as nails. A lot of Keen boots, the bottoms come off of them. This has an industrial type bottom on it. You will be happy with this boot. I am extremely happy with it. It's a good looking piece of equipment for running these 2 chainsaws. Safety is super, super important to me. And if you're not wearing steel toe boots and you're out here running chainsaws like that, you're just asking for a trip to the hospital. It's already dangerous enough. wear your safety gear, please. Let's get busy. What we're gonna do, my plan here, is to just start lopping this off. We're gonna cut it off. So some of this is too big to use for shiitake mushroom logs. We'll get a little closer here so you guys can see the actual size. It doesn't look that big until we get up on it. And now you see, my hand is 8 inches. So this is a pretty big old tree right here. It's hung up right up in there. So the way I'm gonna do, I'm gonna undercut. I'm gonna cut, 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 and it's basically gonna fall, and it's probably gonna drop that direction when we get done. Let's see what happens. I do have the Kubota pretty close, but I feel pretty safe about that. Maybe. If we screw up, we'll definitely show you. This is another piece of essential gear that I use every time I head out the door with the chainsaw. This is a bar oil and chainsaw gas in one combination toolbox. It's got a little flip up tab right here for tools. Guys, I'm telling you this because I want to save you time, save you money, and save you energy carrying around 2 or 3 different chainsaws and a toolbox. So that's a super handy item to have right there. Again, I'll post a link. This ain't a sponsored video. This is just what I use when I go out the door with the chainsaw, and it works. A bit of back trouble has come from running a chainsaw before you stretch out. Stretch out, warm up a little bit before you start running these big heavy saws, guys. It'll save your back, I promise. Get a little stretch in, bend over, put them legs up a little bit, get your chainsaw exercises in. When you jump in and start working real hard like this right out the gate, and you're my age, 44, you start injuring yourself, and you don't want to do that. Let it warm up. Oh, already pinched it. All right, folks, thanks so much for joining me here on the Stoney Ridge. This is the first tree we're gonna be cutting today, and this is a maple tree. I'm not sure why it was so weak down here where it fell, but it did snap, and it's a leaner. So what we've got there is what you'd call a widow maker. Really gotta be careful on how we cut this. We've gotta cut off little sections, slowly drop it. You'll see how we do this. And then we'll take this and cut it up for firewood, and we're gonna use some of these logs for shiitake mushroom logs, so that's why you see me cutting them in about 5-foot lengths. Pretty cool. Whew. I already pinched it, and I have to make an adjustment. Chain was too loose. Now we're gonna wrap this little maple tree up and we're gonna run over and see the big mess. So the big mess is this doggone giant pine tree. The whole top broke out of this pine tree. I think we got a wind gust of about, man, I'm gonna say 70 miles an hour because it just snapped trees off like little twigs. All right, tree number 1 down and out of the way. Really don't have to worry so much about where this tree is. This will be used for firewood, and I'll go up there and I'll harvest my shiitake mushroom logs after the fact. So we just need to get that out from up in that other tree. And you noticed I had to cut that other little white oak tree, but it's got some scarring there at the bottom. What happened to this tree was, this is where my sawmill crew came when they were cutting the timber, and they drug across the side of the base of that tree, and that weakened that little spot, and that's why she tipped over. So now we're head over to the other side and get this pine out of the way. This is small potatoes compared to the other one. Normally running the chainsaw is a cold weather activity, but we lucked up and we were blessed with 50-degree weather this morning. So man, I can't say how awesome that is. I love getting out running these saws. You need to run them about once a month anyway. That way the fuel gets stirred up and doesn't go bad, and you make sure you keep your saws in top running shape. Got another one down right there. It's a mess. Tree is pretty darn big. I don't know if you can see it at all. We'll get you some cool drone shots. The whole top busted out of this tree, and I basically have to do about the same thing that I just did, except for it's on the fence right here too. So you can see we've got a little bit of fence action going on and a lot of tree action going on right here. It's kind of hard to see in the dark, but that tree is probably a little bit bigger around right up there than the other tree. Hopefully what my plan is to get in here, get it off the fence first, take a few of these pieces out, and then I'll drop it on back, and this should just kind of fall back down into the woods. This is the neighbor's property, and our property line is about right there. So I'll chuck all the brush back in over on a big brush pile he has over here. All right, guys, I'm going into this thing kind of head first, if you get my drift. You've got to understand, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So how do you get this tree out of the way? One cut at a time. So we'll slowly chip away at this, but we need to be aware of the dangers that this tree could easily pop back up or swing around and knock the snot out of me. It could really injure me. So we have to be careful. And the reason we carry 2 chainsaws, again, is so that if we get in a pinch or we get in a bind with a tree that's hung up like this, we can always cut our way out of that. So we always need to bring our safety gear, for sure, steel toe boots, which I showed you a little bit earlier, and also we need to be aware that this tree could pop back and hit us. We also have a chain in the back of the Kubota in case we need to pull something out of the way. This is fun, guys. Be sure you hit that like button. I love this kind of work. It's just great to take you along with me on the farm. Hope you'll enjoy and subscribe to the channel. All right, we got our brush up. It looks good. The mess is cleaned, and we made some habitat. So that's wascally habitat right there. This is a rabbit habitat. So when we build brush piles like this out on the farm, that makes for great habitat for wildlife, birds, and wabbits. Now we don't care if they're wascally wabbits or regular wabbits, they're just good wabbits to have. Guys, thanks a lot for joining me here on the Stoney Ridge Farm. I'll be sure and I'll post links to all the safety gear that I use, including these boots. Man, they are super awesome boots. I typically love Keen boots for hiking, but I got these industrial type boots and I'm really, really happy with them. We'll post links to all the safety gear in case you want to get your dad something late Father's Day or a Christmas present idea, or just an idea to keep your husband or wife safe. Awesome. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. We got her done. Take care. We'll see you next time on the Stoney Ridge Farm. Woo! Well, come on down to the Stoney Ridge. Bring your wife and bring your kids. We're living life pure and sweet. That's the way it's supposed to be, Stoney Ridge. What's worse than living by an Air Force base? Living by a private airplane that does training. That's worse than living by an Air Force base, by far. Planes zipping around here over and over and over again doing laps. Ah, that's wabbitat. I don't know for wascoey wabbits or for regular wabbits.
Hey buddy, how you doing? Bye.